planted in an age of strife. From the ashes, the tangent grows as kings are crowned, a new beginning flows. Disgusting, tangent kings, a new age, as stories sing. Disgusting, glows and grows, tangent kings reforged in stars. Oh, reforged in stars. Yeah, yeah. After many years left to die, rediscovered for it to rise. The network finds a gem to forge anew, to shine again. Once a dragon rose, as the slayer froze, all the tangents close. Once the dragon slows, as the slayer pose, tangents reforged in prose. Disgusting, tangent kings, a new age, a story sing. Disgusting, glows and grows, tangent kings reforged in stars. Disgusting, tangent kings, a new age, a story sing. Disgusting, glows and grows, tangent kings reforged in stars. Discussion does now mow, things do now grow, tangents now soar. Disgusting, tangent kings, a new age, a story sing. Disgusting, glows and grows, tangent kings reforged in stars. Disgusting, tangent kings, a new age, a story sing. Disgusting, glows and grows, tangent kings reforged in stars. Yeah, reforged in stars.
The network is alive! I feel the signals! Burning truths connecting the dots! They can't stop the flow!
Yeah, baby, we're back. We're back.
That ending always like
We have survived the purge up until now. I was actually thinking that my channel is going to get purged during the day as I was preparing the topics. But yeah, we're here. This is the disaster stream, and you'll find out why in just a bit. But thank you very much for being here. It's Monday again. It's DiscussThing's Tangent Kings. My name is Hyoso, and I am discussing. And with me are some very progressive, YouTube-friendly.
Sorry, you said
Yes.
disaster, and I'm brown, so I'm looking for Renoir because I'll be the first one killed. Because the brown people all died in the prologue. All right, so you know
He's gonna gomage you with a brick. But with me are some very progressive, very diverse, very inclusive people that are very YouTube friendly because we don't want to disturb our gods at YouTube, especially as they apparently got up on the wrong side of the bed, or at least their AI did. And we're trying to be very, very, how should I put it, inclusive and very up to the standards that YouTube tries to impose on us for the amazing content, like Hassan Spiker's content, that it promotes. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome. Up to my left, where I see all the colors of the rainbow that have been poking me in the eye since the beginning of the stream. How are you, dignified, inclusive cartoon gentleman, you?
I have an announcement to make, ladies and
Oh,
gentlemen.
no.
I have officially endorsed the quartering as Content Creator of the Year.
You mean as content or content creator of the year?
No, content. I mean, who
Okay.
doesn't want another man fucking his wife? Jack Murphy did it. The quartering did it. I'm sure Atreus has done it at some point. It just goes to
Atreus has a
show.
wife. I don't know who does or not.
No, he has many side pieces, Galaxy.
Okay.
Just between you and me, Galaxy, I think Atreus is secretly gay.
Just between you and Galaxy while you're alive. That's
Right.
amazing.
Look, just for the record, YouTube, we all drank coffee brand coffee before the stream. It's the best
Yeah.
Black
coffee.
Lives
It is
Matter.
great coffee.
Everybody is a MILF.
All hail our
Especially
overlord,
if-
Hamby.
Yes. And
Especially if you're doing a real live stream and you're ranking women with children as potential MILFs in the park as you're recording yourself. That's very YouTube friendly.
Look, let's face facts, folks. We ain't gonna get struck down if only 2 people are watching live, okay? Which is
Maybe
great-
one of them is the quartering.
which is a great advantage, right? You'll
Or
never
one of
get
his
wiped out.
orders.
You'll never get wiped out if you're not popular, okay?
Oh, I'm safe.
My picture, right? Rainbow Digny. It's very progressive because it was made by a Muslim, okay? So unprompted, mind you. I
You're
didn't,
hitting all the points.
I didn't ask for this. It was given to me, but I'm sure we'll have a great time. We've got lots of things to talk about, and the next time my poll numbers go down, I'll hire another person to try and shoot me. How about you, Galaxy? How have you been?
I was gonna make a joke, but I probably shouldn't do it. Anyway,
Look,
anyway,
we just got that introduction. You can pretty much say whatever the fuck you want at this point. It's over.
Well,
This is
I was gonna.
this
I was,
is the last time.
fine. I'll say it then. A progressive
Now
Muslim.
we
is
have one.
Yeah, I was gonna say a progressive Muslim is an oxymoron.
Come on. The last
That
person
is-
watching, stop watching.
That's me.
Get rid of your page. I want to have 0 people watching this stream.
No,
because before
I should
long,
never let that
Okay.
stream die.
Anyway,
Be-
seriously.
Before long, that will be the only way to stay safe on YouTube. No one watches.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, my weekend is fine except for, well, as you already know on Saturday what happened. So we'll be talking about that today anyway. Nothing personally happened that was bad for me, but yeah. Anyway, that's about it. We'll
That's
talk
it.
about stuff
Good.
tonight.
What about you, Jace?
Good, very good. Good. I appreciate everyone's support, and fingers crossed we'll have a great time as Helzo clutches a pussy.
Yes.
So there you go.
So,
How have you been, Jace?
I spent some time with my girlfriend on Saturday. I'm getting over being sick. My boss tried to pay me basically in pesos this weekend. Barely kept my phone on, barely keep my electricity on. Basically, completely in financial hell on top of being sick. But I guess I'm still here. I'm still alive. That counts for something. I haven't had to sell a kidney yet. Been just trying to live, survive, game. I've been enjoying Expedition 33, which I've gotten deeper into this past week. I've been also playing Atelier Ryza for all those gooners out there. So just been keeping myself busy any way that I can, and living, although I'm sure that my 73-year-old mother will outlive me at this point. I believe that she is downstairs actively plotting my death. Renoir ain't got shit on my mother, all right?
Yeah. Which is why
Your mother is the
Cancel This
painter's.
Podcast- Which is why Cancel This Podcast is doing a special Kick live stream this Wednesday to celebrate Jace's mother's 74th birthday with a stair lift installation.
Worse, she's a Libra. It's October for her birthday. They're schizophrenic. The horoscopes
Good.
say so.
Good, very good. Draft her, would you? But if you haven't already, folks, we appreciate everyone's support, especially in this day and age. All these creators getting silenced or deplatformed, or demonetization is the worst, folks, because without an income, the vast majority of creators you know and love would simply just fade away. They're not like me. They're not like my mentor. They're more like Jace, who actually needs the concept of coin to keep on going. and
Yeah,
keep
well, I
on
mean, hey,
growing.
look, to keep the Expedition 33 trend, they're all being gamaged. I mean,
Yeah.
essentially.
And one advice on my end: always have like a tipping source, something like what you use. I discovered that I have a tipping source to stream elements on my animal donation stream on Sunday.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I had a person on my chat says, "Do you have a PayPal or do you have anything that we can donate to that?" Let me just check. I was like, okay, I had this for a year and I didn't know that I have it. Thank you. Hello. And I received some donations on it. So it's good to have those.
Also, you know how you can tell I'm poor? Because I have multiples of them. I have coffee, I have Buy Me a Coffee, I have Venmo, I have Cash App. I tell people to donate on Rumble. I've got Stripe connected to all these other platforms.
Give me money.
Like,
Give me money. Give me money.
At this point, I'll take your old antiques that I could try to pawn off at a pawn shop somewhere because I'm so fucking broke.
Go to Pawn Stars.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Again, you have my offer from pre-stream, so again, I got you.
Look, the way things are going, Helzo, I may have to leave the country. I might get loomered if I stay here much longer.
Well, you can do what that cat is doing and show your ass on camera for money.
Yes, that's actually.
Well, what I should do is show my ass on camera for money and tell people you have to pay me to stop, and that would probably work.
Oh no, but
That's
speaking of
make a
stopping,
millionaire.
we've only just started for today's show, folks. Unfortunately, Roger is a bit under the weather. Unfortunately, he ate bad Japanese seafood, so
That's not what he
he's
said.
he's paying the price for
I
that.
think he just I don't know what he said. His wife is not coming back.
That's all right, Galaxy.
Didn't they almost
when
kill Homer Simpson once?
Yes, by
things that-
eating him.
yes.
But we're going to talk about something very interesting. Now, whenever we're low in the polls, we, assign someone to have a go at us. But when you're a president, you just blame your security team and your numbers magically do better. 12 minutes and 50 seconds for the first topic. Quote, Trump gets lucky again as security faces errors. This is why we need the ballroom, guys. Trump needs his ballroom for his balls, okay?
But
The old white road also needs a ballroom, but for completely different reasons. All
they're
right?
not wrong though. I mean, ballroom would be more safer. Get the White House.
community.
The gay
I
community.
I would like to start
ballroom.
this with a meme I just found. This is the security, apparently.
Oh boy!
I think I remember that.
Yeah.
It's fun.
I mean, look, it wouldn't be the first time they've roughed up a MAGA
airplane,
meme.
yeah.
Anyone remember Jan 6?
Yep. This is I just found that. I
Yeah.
just think that this is accurate. And by the way, as
You haven't
someone
seen
from a
Airplane?
country- yeah, I think this was actually
That's
Yeah.
from Airplane.
Yeah, that's from Airplane. Yeah. As someone who has seen a real life staging with one of our parties about 15 years ago, where someone went up to the party leader and pointed the gun without even holding the trigger, and he was beaten almost to a pulp by party members who were 70-year-old Turkish people. I've seen bad acting. This didn't seem like bad acting. This did seem like a bad job being done from what I've seen as the security footage.
I think it's crazy that this security lapse has taken place yet again. It is living proof that the president, for all of his faults, and boy, does he have more and more with each passing month, he would rather put not only his own life, but the life of key members of his administration on the line, rather than admit that he got it wrong with hiring private security to defend high-ranking government officials, up to and including the president and the vice president. We had none of these problems with Obama. We had none of these problems with Biden, because their security, folks, quite simply, is government supported. People who are legitimately trained throughout their careers to protect world leaders. Trump doesn't care. He doesn't want that. He doesn't want that. But he's paying the price for not wanting that, quite simply. You know, the last president who didn't want government security was JFK, and look what happened to him.
Well, I think that no, but like on one hand, I agree with you, but
Mhm.
you also didn't have such presidents that are such a wild card
Mhm.
in the past several terms. Like Obama wasn't a wild card. Biden certainly wasn't a wild card. He was a demented card, but that's an entirely different thing.
No,
Yeah.
Bush was.
No one wanted to
the
kill him.
you know why? Because
Bush
people,
was, but Bush was right after 9/11, so nobody was touching him.
people who are against the Democrats, when they are mad at them, will do things like we're doing now. We'll sort of make content. We'll express our dissatisfaction on social media. We'll talk about it. We'll discuss it. The left operates on it's totally admissible to inflict acts that should not be allowed. By the way, also the difference being, and obviously we have a lot of the YouTube stuff on the cards later, that people who tend to be ideologically on the left get away with saying things on YouTube and Twitch that they should not be allowed to get away with saying, because if we were to say it about our opposition, we'd be dragged out in handcuffs before the show even ended. So, you've got the infamous, blood in the streets, Hassan Piker type of rhetoric. And this guy might be a product of this.
Yeah,
Huh?
exactly. This is
Well,
what
my
they do.
understanding is that the property owners who have properties there choose just not to rent it at all.
Yeah, kill
As a
them.
result.
Kill those motherfuckers and murder those motherfuckers in the street. Let the streets
I didn't hear it
soak
in
their
Minecraft.
fucking
Did you
red
guys?
capitalist bloods, dude.
No. This is what they promote. This is what this is what the world is now. They're acting like.
By the way, I was going to say, Helzo, I sent you and Digny something too. People will go, oh, well, that's just Hassan Piker. Normies don't know who he is. But Jimmy Kimmel, 2 days before this happened, also made a comment about how Melania Trump was a future widow. Literally 2 days before this. And this is now like the third or fourth time Kimmel has stepped into it.
Please allow me to introduce myself, or rather to introduce the clip.
Yes.
Our First Lady Melania is here. Look at Melania, so beautiful. Mrs. Trump, you have a glow like an expectant widow. Wow. Here's our First Lady.
And by the way, that's someone who's on national television. That is not a Fringe.
Yeah.
That is not a Hassan Piker. That is not a Vosh.
By the way, let's be completely honest. 20 years ago, such a joke would not cause any problems. Like this is dark humor. Okay, this used to be like especially in America in the 90s, 80s, and 90s, you had people like.
But back then it wasn't
George
serious.
Carlin,
Now it is.
who-
It can't be now.
Like,
sorry
you had
burst
people
your
who are
bubble.
such dark comedians that this is light work for them. But this is a different
I'm
time.
sorry, Helzo. I'm sorry to burst your bubble. 1999 wasn't 20 years ago. Okay. We're talking 30 years ago.
You shut up. You shut the fuck up.
You
It
shut
was-
up.
It was. It
You
was.
shut up.
1990 was 20
Right.
years ago. 1980s was 20 years ago.
All right.
Shut the
I had to tell Alfie
You
John
cannot.
this.
Nope.
I had-
nope. We're
I had to tell-
2005.
Right, he doesn't want
No,
to
it's
feel
not.
old. Stop it.
No.
It's
Shut up.
2026, and I told Alfie
can't.
John this. I'm going to tell you this. We are closer to the 2050s than the 1990s at this point.
Look, when you
Okay.
get Galaxy and Ice Age, you just accept that you're old and probably going to die soon.
All right.
I refuse to believe
Pretty
this.
much,
Okay,
but-
let me act like a YouTube friendly and a YouTube accepted manner. This is my truth. I believe this, so you have to accept my truth.
Oh no! Now Halsey's going to be required to talk like that for the remainder of his channel's existence to appease YouTube.
Please,
We're in
YouTube.
fact-
I'm very progressive.
We're
That was
past.
so fucking. That was weird. With the
Next
Yes.
week, Halsey shows up in a man bun on his hair.
Yes, he will. He
I
will.
already have the plaid shirt and the beard, so I just need the vegan
So-
latte mocha.
I mean, if
Yeah.
you go with the man bun, I guess you're gonna be Dan Vask, right?
Let's,
Yeah.
Get the man bun.
let's face it, guys. We are past the halfway point of the 2020s. We are entering which I believe to be the great decade of chaos in the 2030s, where, look, folks, the world will radically change in the 2030s, whether we like it or not. The age of services will be gone by the end of the 2030s, and the age of AI will fully be made manifest. You will see clankers on the streets. You will see all
Clankers in the
sorts
sheets.
of you will see the merger of the physical and the digital world to such an extent that we need to have a foot in the future, but we are led by people who have not just a foot but their whole body in the past, right? The person I'm pretending to be here, Mr. Trump, Donald Trump. Let's face facts. The man is in a period of his life, likewise with most of America's leaders, where they have one foot in the grave. Trump's security team should have been fired completely during the whole situation in Butler. Quite frankly, he should have, along with J.D. Vance, they should have both had Secret Service, full Secret Service protection. They both refused it. Even now, they've refused it. And you can't help but make the case that private security is not built to defend world leaders. It's not, quite frankly. You're not businessmen. You're responsible, officially, you're responsible for leading the most powerful nation on planet Earth, both economically and militarily, as of the making of this live stream in late April of 2026. If you guys don't get your act together and have a foot in the future instead of a foot in the past, America won't have a future of social peace and economic prosperity. Quite frankly.
Well, I mean, we're not having that anyway, but that's the whole other story.
Yeah.
I think the reason for that, though, is that not just the United States, but the entire Western world is stuck in the mindset of an era that doesn't exist. You look at the way things are, and you know, why is it grainy footage? This is not 1996. This is 2026.
Well,
why
because
isn't it in
they're
full HD?
Yeah, because you can tell that they're actually like filming a moving monitor.
Yeah,
like,
this is
then not
filming
from,
another monitor. Yes.
yeah, with his
Yeah.
phone basically.
Just
So-
look what
I
happens.
get that, guys.
Just look what
I get that,
happens.
guys. I also get copying video addresses and using sites where you can download material, right? I can do that on X all the time. And I do that for YouTube stuff all the time, too. We are led by people who are stuck in the past.
Well, it's because I think he also just like uploaded it quickly because if he had a chance to actually get the raw footage,
Yeah.
it'd be different.
The thing
Good
is
God.
that when you don't have, when that job isn't basically not your life, but what you kind of voluntarily signed up for, like you want that job and you will do that job until the ends of whatever is necessary to protect that person. Things like that happen. Now, private security, for the right reasons, in certain circumstances, can be effective, but that's not the case. It's not the case when you're talking about, like, okay, because I talked about this before the show, before I came back from a restaurant with a friend. Can you imagine the repercussions if any of the Galaxy 4 assassinations had
Yeah,
succeeded?
yeah, it's four. Pretty much
Any
four,
of-
yeah.
What would have happened, in your opinion? We, us four, would probably either be hiding in a bunker or will be dead. Why? Because when something like that happens, if and especially in this day and age, especially now, to the leader of a country like the United States of America, you can bet your fucking ass with everything that's going on in the world, every other nation will take this as an advantage. You will have like the whole
No.
country militarily and in a civilian manner be shook. You have around 50% of the woke lefties celebrating the streets. You have the right-wing people go out and mourn and they'll clash. They'll create mini civil wars in the streets and battles. It's going to be absolute catastrophe. They'll send in the military to try and quench it, and military will be disorganized even for 72 hours. And you can bet your ass that every nation that has a spy, that has some intelligence that monitors everything that's going on with the United States and with the West, will take it as an advantage to launch something of an attack. Because that's everybody's. If Putin were to die tomorrow, it's going to happen the same with neighboring countries. This is what's going to happen because they're just waiting for the proper amount of destabilization on a country level to happen that will echo throughout the world and throughout their allies for the opposite side to just completely take the chance and annihilate every opposition and become the dominant power. That's everybody's waiting for that. It has been for the last 40 years.
Digny has a good point, though, that these people do think that we're still living in like 40, 50 years ago because their mindset is a 40, 50 years ago mindset. I think about when I talk with my 73-year-old mom and she acts like, oh, just get another job. It'll be fine. Or my boss tries to pay me $50 like that covers everything. And these people don't understand about purchasing power, that essentially if you make under $66 an hour, which I certainly don't make, you are making less than minimum wage in 1970 purchasing power. That is the world they were living in. And sometimes in their mind, they're still living in that world. That world has passed us by. That world is too late. It's too gone. That will never, this underlying, problem that most middle-class people, normal, everyday working people face is not going to go away no matter how many attempted assassinations on the president happen, no matter what you people think about the Epstein files, no matter what you people think about Iran. What's not going away is the middle class is eating a bag of dicks. Figuratively, if they're literally eating a bag of dicks, they're given like all sorts of welfare and hooray for you and waving the flags around and all that. It's crazy because the one thing that will make you ignore it, though, and make everyone in the news ignore it, is anytime some major event happens. And what is more major of an event than another one of these psychotic lunatics going after the president and trying to end the president because they didn't like what he had to say and he hurt their little feelings?
Yeah, the only way that the middle class is not utterly fucked is if there's war and the poor eat the bag of dicks first. That's exactly the only way, because they like the poor are going to be very eager to earn some money.
Well, fun fact, guys, and then we'll get Galaxy's perspective. The last time America had a budget surplus was at the end of the Clinton administration. The last time America could balance its budget, it was under a Democrat. It was under a scandal-ridden Democrat in Bill Clinton, right? And did Al Gore succeed him on, I balanced the budget, I know how to run the country properly? No. Americans don't want a balanced budget. America wants to be like, fuck yeah, I'm bankrupting myself by bombing foreign countries. America, fuck yeah.
You know who's running on a surplus, Digny? You know who's running on a budget surplus right now as a country?
Israel.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to start breaking in the song of Who Can It Be Now, but yes, exactly. It's them again.
Balancing the budget and trying your best to address the massive debt that a country faces, especially the United States, that should be the number one priority. The cost of living crisis, which is a big crisis, and balancing the budget. Those are the two biggest things that Americans should be focused on and resolving. And then immigration, because, immigration does cause a lot of problems as well.
Unfortunately, the only people who care about that in the political space out loud are libertarians, but then everything else on their platform is mentally insane, so it invalidates the one thing that they have going for them, which is, yes, we have to get this under control. But then it's like, let's just make toddlers shooting up heroin legal in our country. Like,
hey, what do you make of that? What do you make of what we've just said, Galaxy?
It's this picture, first time.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Anyway, about the whole thing that happened on Saturday, there was a few things like that about it that I have noticed that the people that were like talking about it, they were wanting it to actually happen, but didn't actually go through or whatever. Like it's either like well, as you know, we were talking about it earlier before the stream. But for the chat, they were like people were like talking about like Iran, it could be part of it. part of the assassination attempt for some reason, just so they can say it's that, so they can go after Iran some more, have more attacks on Iran, and it was like, and it's all like no evidence for that at all. Yeah, and then the other two things that I've noticed is one is saying, oh, it's staged, everything, the whole thing was staged and everything, and I'm like, it's staged for the ballroom, just so they can get the ballroom. And I'm like, but that's not the ballroom. Getting a ballroom at the White House would make a lot of sense anyway, because of the advanced security, because you're gonna have like more security there at the White House than you would be at a random hotel. So it's just
I'll make it very clear to you though, Galaxy. Nothing would buy a Democratic president popular support more than destroying a symbol of the prior Trump administration, and that symbol would be the ballroom. I think if I was a Democrat political strategist, right, I'd make it very clear that the first thing I would encourage President Newsom or President Harris, or maybe another candidate if they do well, first thing I'd encourage them to do is to tear down, Mr. President or Mrs. President, tear down this ballroom, because it is a symbol. It is a symbol of the regime that we want to tear down. And I think it would be popular. If it keeps going like this under the present administration, I think it would be a popular decision. I honestly do. Why should we have corporate funded? Because it's corporate funded. Why should private entities pay for an extension of a government building? Why? Doesn't make any sense at all. Doesn't make any sense, right?
At least it's not the taxpayers paying for it.
Well, that's a good argument on one side. A good argument on another side is, well, why don't we let private companies fund the president's security so that the assassins can finish the job? I mean, I know it's a bit humorous, but let's face facts. Government is government. Corporations are corporations. If they start mixing and funding one another, then the people as an institution, pardon my French, folks, are completely fucked. If government and corporations...
Actually, you do have that mixture for a long time, but just in different sections. Like corporations fund politicians all over the world, lobbying, funding, and donating generously to government projects or to renovating, let's say, infrastructure without the government's help, but with approval. That's everywhere in the West. And that's how corporations slowly take control and take a little bit of a power.
With respect, there is a little bit of a difference between lobbying a government official and extending the main residence of the president's house.
True.
Here's the thing about a lot of this, though, is I do think that, anything is within the realm of possibility. After everything we've seen, you just have to believe everything is fake and gay until proven otherwise, essentially. And you look at it, the world is a stage. Look, while I think it's a terrible thing when someone tries to take the life of the president, regardless of if I'm pissed off at him or not, given the Iran situation, this also made people forget about Iran. They forgot they were mad at him. Tactically, it would be fortuitous for Trump to have one of these weirdos attempt on him, because it creates a sympathy for the president among people who still have a normal working brain, who say, look, I don't agree with him. I don't want the man killed. And so you have a situation. This guy, it is very suspect. It is highly suspect. Digny blames the security detail. I question how, you would have to have the security of a shopping mall or less to let a guy who is a 31-year-old registered Democrat, avowed Democrat, California Democrat teacher into a building where all the elites are and everyone else is, and get in there with the president, the vice president, and the first lady, and their families completely unguarded. Like, come on now. Come on. This is not sneaking into an apartment complex swimming pool when I was 8 years old. This is like literally you're going into a place where some of the most important people in this country are going to be.
Well, one thing, he actually didn't get there on that day either. He was there a couple of days before. They already had a room and everything. So Yeah, you're muted.
Surveillance and security should have still been able to find that. In fact,
I know.
I question.
But I'm saying that because
I question the effectiveness of Palantir that they didn't fucking know it. Like Palantir is supposed to know everything. The all-seeing eye, right? They should know that this guy was there 2 days ago.
And now you're going on the other direction. What if they did know it?
Exactly.
Look, this whole situation, from a narrative standpoint, it just proves the fecklessness of this administration. It proves that people outside of politics should have nothing to do with the political process. What Trump has done in his handling of his first term and his second term can easily be used as a case study that no one outside of the profession of politics, especially a businessman, should have any place anywhere near elected office.
And that's bad for us because that creates a monarchy. It creates an oligarchy.
Yeah.
It creates what, basically that this class has their bag and everyone else can eat shit. I'm not down with that. The one thing I will also say, though, is that as what Galaxy said, they are going to blame Iran as much as possible because the people blaming Iran need it to be Iran to justify continued involvement in that quagmire. Now, there's a whole other group of people on the right, and I would say I'm included in that group to some extent. Let's say this is why taking the eye off the ball for Iran was a stupid idea, because this is the rallying we should have seen after Charlie Kirk was sadly his life ended before his time, because basically with your eye off of the ball, all you've done is the Iran thing is a gift wrapping to the left. They may very well sweep midterms. But now this shows you this is what happens. The left, unfettered power on the left. If this is what they're willing to do when they don't have power, what are they going to do to all of you when they do? And they are dangerously close to reclaiming that power, all because of the fact that some people with very stupid little hats on in a very stupid little country want us to be at war with Iran. And Trump had to say so, one, because they put a lot of money in his pocket. Two, because his stupid pencil neck geek son-in-law is part of the tribe. And three, because Bibi Netanyahu probably only has like 6 months left to live. And he wants to see more hospitals exploding before he goes.
I want to ask a question regarding it. So we kind of touched upon that subject, but this whole thing is going to be very helpful in the midterms if it goes the right way, if it's spun the right way.
I don't think so.
Well, when you're trying to assassinate the president, it kind of tips the polls, especially if it's unsuccessful, and shows resilience. Although this time they didn't even get to him like the previous times. Yeah. So,
but other attempted assassination attempts in history have shown it that they get favor in the polls.
Yeah. In my opinion, the one at the rally when they got his ear is what absolutely skyrocketed him.
Not to mention, someone inside.
It doesn't matter who thinks what. That event, and his survival, and that iconic gesture that he has. I mean, you could. I don't care whoever thinks that's staged or not or whatever. That thing, when looked from someone outside of it, it was a powerful moment. It showed strength. It showed confidence. It showed unwielding relentlessness, even in the mortal danger that he was in. That wins polls. That wins people, because people are craving for something like this. And the more the political stage gets corrupted, the more they're looking for these pure values. And that's one of the things that Trump is.
Trump's not the outsider anymore. Okay, quite frankly, politics as a concept is changing all the time. Right. Teddy Roosevelt was shot in the chest. He still went to his speech. He still went and did his speech. Did he win an election off of it? Fuck no. Of course not. Right. But of course, the landscape has changed a lot in that period of time. Trump's not the outsider. He's not the outsider. He could be shot in the chest in a few weeks' time and still continue his speech, and his legacy will still be kaput at this point. We are in a period where it's unsalvageable this year. No matter what happens, the Iran war could end tomorrow. We're still going to enter a period of recession in the United States by the end of the year. Right?
Not only in the United
Midterms
States,
are
this is
gone. The entire Trump administration could turn into smoke and they wouldn't win in 2026. They wouldn't. And I will dare to make that claim.
Well, I guess I'm going to go down fighting because they're going to have to drag my ass to jail for the fucking crime of posting memes. I ain't fucking stopping. All right. Fuck Kamala Harris. Fuck Joe Biden. Fuck Gavin Newsom. Fuck every last one of them. Sorry, that's probably not palatable to what YouTube wants. But you know what? What I want is the Democrats to fuck off. And you know, when you look at this guy was a card-carrying Democrat. There's a lot of crazy things involved with this dude. He was an indie game developer on Steam, which, by the way, is going to screw all of us. By the way, it's not a right or left.
It's going to go after the gamers.
Screwed.
Yep.
They're going to go look at his Discord. They're going to say, this is why we need verification. You know, then you look at him. He was a Smash player, which means that they smelled him before they saw him, by the way. Because, you know, professional Smash players, look, they're the worst smelling people on God's green earth.
I'll go after Nintendo because it's Smash.
Yeah. But on top of that, you know, the thing that I found very interesting and probably my favorite thing about this is that they did comb through his social media to see who is following and see if he was a fan of Hassan Piker. Hassan has already run defense by saying, no, he's critical of me. But the one person that Mr. Cole Allen favorited the most on Blue Sky, oh boy.
It do be like that, Mr. Stancil.
Mr. Will Stancil. He has favorited more tweets, Blue Sky tweets from Will Stancil than any other left-wing personality.
It's so sad. It's so sad. Hopefully they make an animation about Dan Bongino's rejected clone. Okay, folks, because he looks like that. He looks like that. It's crazy. It's crazy.
I will tell you, the media loves the fact that this guy's light skinned because it is so easy. They will make him lighter and lighter and lighter until he is whiter than Helzo. He will be whiter than Helzo by Friday.
Thank you.
Galaxy.
I was gonna say the guy also did donate to Kamala. There is a
yes. He predicted that Kamala would sweep the election.
Yeah, and he donated to her.
No, the sad thing about all this is there are a lot of clips that are circling around for quite some time. Is what politics used to be and how everybody used to be at least cordial with each other. And even though we were on different side of things, you could be civil and you could actually be friends with these people. And politics didn't affect who you are, like, and who you have friends, because this was a byproduct.
Well, there's a reason for that also. There's a reason for that.
Yeah, I know.
Before 2016, from the end of the Second World War until 2016, everyone was on the same team, right? The Uniparty literally controlled everything and everyone for generations, be it Democrat or Republican. There was very little between JFK and Nixon. There's very little. Looking at it now, between Reagan and Carter, in a sense, they had practically the same foreign policy. Their domestic policy was slightly different. But ever since Trump came along, amassing the forgotten masses of America, and he's not the only one who's done it. There have been various parties and various parts of the world that have tried to do the same. The reason why discourse in politics is worse than ever in the modern world is because everyone's not on the same team anymore.
Yeah, well, everyone who bought this game is on a list right now, Digny. This is Cole Allen's game, Bodrum.
I think reviews have been deleted because I checked this.
Yeah, and
I checked this.
Yeah, and they removed it apparently because you can't buy it.
You can't buy it.
Probably because it's funding, may fund his legal defense. But yeah, all the reviews started being jokes about assassinations, but there were also a few that were mad at him for not succeeding because, of course, the left is now doing this. You are now finding the TikToks. You're finding the short videos, the short form videos, where the only thing that they're mad about is that he was unsuccessful, which again proves the point that the right wants to make, is that the left are a dangerous animal that cannot be allowed to gain power under any circumstances. Here's the problem with that, is that by inviting war with Iran on the behalf of people who people on the right already don't like, at least those who are not neocons, you've already sort of thrown the election. As Digny said, there could be 8 of these guys, and I don't think you'd be able to turn the polls around at this point just because of the fact that the war in Iran is so unpopular. However, it has gotten a lot of talking heads to now sort of ignore this, because now Alex Jones has to cover this crazy person. All right, Alex Jones has to forget that he's mad at Trump for about 5 minutes to cover this crazy person. Tucker Carlson has to forget he's mad at Trump for 5 minutes to cover this crazy person. All of them. So it manages to sweep a lot of the things that Trump has done, especially in the past 30 days, under the mat for people to forget just long enough, and hopefully to a political degree, that the Democrats, the communists, because I don't even want to call them Democrats, because at this point they are avowed communists. Look at Mamdani in New York City, regain power. I mean, we had a situation that Digny and I and John talked about on Thursday. A young woman getting stomped out in New York because she refused to give her phone number to a nice colored Haitian gentleman. And what do you think's going to happen? He's going to serve no time. Mamdani will probably put her in prison for not getting on her knees for the dude.
Yeah.
How dare you? He's a Haitian migrant. You should get on your hands and knees and kiss his feet.
I want to because I do want to point out something that Jace did, but I'm gonna give a different example. Remember the trucker ride in Canada against COVID?
Yes.
Convoy.
You remember
Convoy, yeah.
that
Yes,
thing?
the convoy. Mhm.
Okay, that convoy reached Europe, reached the Netherlands, it reached Belgium, it reached France, it reached the UK, and it started moving towards Central and Eastern Europe. And do you know what happened right as it was going to become global, and as the full blockade of Canada was just 2 or 3 days before it happened? Do you know the one event that happened right then? Can anyone remember?
Was that when the war with Ukraine started?
Exactly. And within minutes, not even hours,
Under the
every
rug.
living soul on earth forgot about the truckers.
Mm-hmm.
You have a big enough event. What Jay said, that it's now everybody forgot about Iran.
Mm-hmm.
You get a big enough event, as in my opinion, the war with Iran is a little bit of sus, in my opinion, because nobody's talking about the Epstein files now. Maybe maybe it's a coincidence, but again, it's a very big one. Get a big enough event, and you can play volleyball or ping pong or whatever kind of a game you want to use as a metaphor with the people's attention. Now that we have this, if you want, you can have another event in 5 days, and everybody's gonna stop doing. Gonna stop.
It's the one downside of the internet, Helzo. Information overload.
Yep.
I'm just after the Venezuelan operation in early January of 2026, folks. Trump's average approval rating was 44.3% on average, right? And that was what, three months ago? Over nearly 4 months ago, right?
Whoa.
In 4 months, his approval rating has gone down by nearly 4 points. That's about a point a month since this year started. If he keeps going like that, that man is going to have some of the lowest approval ratings of any president in recent memory, which isn't going to do well for him or for his legacy. And I will tell you for a fact, the Democrats, they could win in 2032 just off of tearing down Trump's legacy and just doing that. Just stick to that. Because Trump and MAGA will be so unpopular if it keeps going like this into the rest of 2026, into 2027 and 2028, that the Democrats could sweep a generation just by saying we're dismantling MAGA's legacy.
And here's the problem with that. That's not a platform. That is psychosis. And that is psychosis on a massive scale. Because instead of creating a platform where you're making the lives of anyone better, your whole platform is, I'm really mad at this guy, and I want to ruin anyone who enabled him to win an election. And that temper tantrum has not worked out well for them. And it's the same sort of mental way of thinking when they see Hogwarts Legacy and they say, oh, I don't want to know you if you buy this game. Like, this is just, it's not a platform. It's mental retardation. If the Democrats had an actual platform, one where they made the lives of Americans better in some capacity, that would be it. But their platform is welfare for everybody who came here illegally, welfare for people who are murdering people. Let's let people out of prison 35 times. By the way, we really hate Donald Trump. Yay! And then again, You could go back, you could watch season of The Apprentice. Half these motherfuckers that complain about Trump were on The Apprentice kissing his ass for season after season.
Yeah.
They're completely fraudulent, folks. A lot of people get it wrong when they
Hey,
are asked, when
Digny,
was Trump?
when you win this round, when your team wins, your winning team will get to meet my good friend, a very good friend of mine, Chuck Schumer.
Oh,
He introduced Chuck Schumer as a good friend of his on The Apprentice. And Chuck Schumer, he literally goes, Trump's dad and my dad work together. They're great people. And, it's just complete opposite of what you see now. The whole world is a stage. It's as scripted as professional wrestling.
Yep.
But I want people to understand that Trump at his most unpopular during the last 10 years was not January 6th. Trump's lowest average approval rating was near Christmas of 2022. In fact, it was exactly in the middle of December of 2022. And what happened during that time? That's when his place got raided. If you guys remember, when Mar-a-Lago got raided, and all this stuff was found. But it just goes to show, in that time, his approval rating went up and up and up and up and up, and now it's been going down and down and down and down ever since he became president again. I want folks to understand right here, right now, that when it comes to 2026, it's not salvageable. 2028 is still salvageable, but it requires a lot of U-turning, which it's not going to be good for Trump's reputation, but it's going to take a lot of U-turning and going back to the basis. It's the economy, stupid. It's immigration. It's balancing the budget. You don't balance the budget by putting $500 billion extra into the military. You don't balance the budget by making your egotistical ballroom that will be knocked down by President Gavin Newsom, because that will earn him a lot of popularity in his opening months as president. You laugh, Elzo, but I bet you Newsom would do that. He would, because he loves buying cheap popularity at the expense of other people. But we could focus on this topic all throughout today's show, but I'm sure it'll develop in the days and weeks ahead.
Well, the other thing, Digny, is I think that ultimately, and you've brought this up on previous episodes of this show, that if that Trump has a lot riding on this, because if he loses all political capital by 2028, and 2026 is already, like you said, almost pretty much a lost cause, they will do to him what Brazil has done to Bolsonaro, and he will spend his final days in a prison.
Yeah, suffering and dying, and his family will be harassed until the end of their days, right? Okay, the cat is Israel and Helzo is America. Okay, folks?
Yeah,
on that
we're
note,
having a love-love relationship, not a love-hate relationship. And nobody's
Speaking of-
fucking anyone else in the ass.
So, speaking of, pause. Well, speaking of purging, ladies and gentlemen, 53 minutes and 30 seconds. If you haven't already, folks, like the stream, share the stream. Donations are always welcome. Our second topic is YouTube goes purging as alternatives, well, fail to live up to expectations. And yet, Rumble is one of them, folks. But YouTube has been purging recently. Not purchasing, but they've been purging. They've been purging a lot of great people, but unfortunately for Rumble, ordering exists, so you're fucked as well, quite frankly. I heard from Furious Dan, he's like, I'm going to kick, and I'm like, good luck. Good luck on kick.
Look, you guys need to understand something. We can't all blame the quartering on your being deplatformed, especially if we're not talking about them. But the thing is, the guy is so inundated with every platform that the only platform he was not inundated with as of yesterday no longer exists, which is DLive. It closed down permanently as of last night. He said as such. He's already ingratiated himself with Rumble, with Odyssey, with BitChute, with people in positions of power at all these platforms. So you know what? Like I said, the best thing is to ignore Mr. Big Show Ironclad contract and just put your eggs in as many baskets as possible.
Apparently, he did lie about his.
So if a
contract for
guy
Rumble.
who live streams himself pointing out which women with children in the park as where he is at are tangible MILFs, and that he would. That I'm sorry, I don't want to even become famous on any of these platforms.
Mhm.
Well, I think that's the era we're going to enter into, because the fact YouTube is purging, you know, we talked about this on another network show about the Oscars moving onto YouTube. It's clear what mainstream video sharing platforms are trying to do. They're trying to welcome the existing system with open arms and throw the U out of YouTube. Unfortunately, for other platforms, Rumble being a great example, is that you have a system embedded in Rumble. Really, it stems from Chris, right? Chris Pavlovsky, the man who's inebriation and is CP, folks. Chris Pavlovsky. It's like, change your goddamn name. I don't like the abbreviation of it. And quite frankly, the quartering is a great example of, well, these smaller platforms have been captured by an utterly odious man who's just going to be like, nah, they can't be here. I'll walk away if they're here, or I'll just get rid of them myself. This is something that needs to be addressed, but it seems the only way to address it is to migrate. And Kick is a great option, but you've got to strangle your cats to be on Kick. You gotta throw your mothers down the stairs to be on Kick. You have it is the egregious platform.
I look at it. I look at it a little differently. I look at migrating Rumble a little bit differently as someone who is there, and I'm popular not because of Rumble, but in spite of Rumble. I am not allowed at the cool kids table at Rumble. All right, there's a whole institution of content creators over on Rumble. I don't get invited to their parties. All right. I don't. I don't have the look. I don't have the attitude. I'm not advertiser friendly. I do find it funny. Chris puts out a contract to an advertiser friendly, Quartering. By the way, a few years ago when Chris and Quartering signed that contract, you would never have thought Quartering would have that kind of drama. He always seemed kind of relatively milquetoast, not, that kind of guy. Now we see this crash out is incredible. It's sort of this thing that's sort of overtaken the entire internet. To the point where Quartering is putting his name in his own videos to try to suppress any other videos about him that pop up from everybody else. But ultimately, you got to look at it as what you make of it. But I would recommend to everyone, look, whether you are on Rumble, whether you are on YouTube, do not put all your eggs in one basket. You must be able to branch out. You must be able to back up what you do. Even if you don't multi-stream, at least back up your videos. So if you get wiped out on one, you still have the other. You do not want all your time and effort and energy that you put into this completely obliterated because you didn't back it up. You have to. You have to. It's a necessity. It's not even, it's not even up for debate now. If you are exclusive to one platform, you are playing with fire.
Yeah. Especially if you're someone like us who discusses and actually engages in thought and in critical thinking. And speaking of which, with what's been happening and what the second topic is about, let's start with the first person who is John Tripio. I think everybody's aware of John Tripio at least a little bit. His gaming channel got demonetized. And he says, dropping like dominoes, gaming channel has been demonetized. And he basically... as you can see, this is from YouTube. We have determined that one of the channels you operate has unresolved suspension from the YouTube Partner Program. Yada, yada, yada. As of today, this channel is not eligible to monetize. And a little bit of a clarification. He says, thank you very much for reaching out.
And there's this Rumble link, by the way.
Yeah, he also has a Rumble link that you can follow.
Yeah, that's for his podcast.
Yeah,
he doesn't do gaming on it. He doesn't do gaming on Rumble though.
He clarifies that his channel was demonetized for reused content, which, okay, I gotta ask, and probably one of you is gonna answer me. If I use the same intro for my videos every time, is that reused content?
Technically, according to them, yes.
Yeah, so I'm fucked.
The concept of inauthentic or reused content has always made me laugh, because before being a cartoon and now currently being a cartoon, the network and its predecessor used a specific model for turning shows into videos. You make videos, you make shows, and you make videos from said shows, because a live stream is not the same as a video, even if the videos are made courtesy of live streaming, right?
Absolutely.
We used to call it recycled content, folks, but it sounded a little bit too close to what YouTube deems an offense. But quite frankly, content creation and live streaming are not the same medium, even if it comes from the same source. The same can be applied to shorts, although I'm not making 100 shorts from a live stream because I don't want to go nuts.
And this is another.
This is, by the way, we talked about the whole Trump situation, the Democrats regaining power in America. This is why this is a bad thing, because, by the way, the closer, if you haven't noticed, remember YouTube about 6 months ago, we can change, guys. Everyone come back. We love you guys. We're going to let all of you come back. All right. Except for Nick Fuentes and Alex Jones. Fuck those guys. That's what YouTube basically said. The closer we get to the communists, again, I don't want to call them Democrats or communists, regaining the reins of political power, YouTube back to their same old shit, because their leniency will only last as long as a conservative presidency. All right, and even then they'll flip around and they'll go after people that sort of skirt against the establishment there, or criticize Israel too heavy, or whatever.
They'll push the limit, but they won't go over it.
Once they get, once the left starts to get more of the reins of power, YouTube feels more comfortable with their censorship. And I wouldn't be surprised. You may see them go back on their word on a lot of other things that they started promising people, because we are seeing this. We're seeing, I think I saw like 3 other content creators just this week alone having the same problem as Jay, where they're just completely getting deplatformed, demonetized for the same unoriginal content thing. They've tried to appeal it, got the automated response back, and according to YouTube, case closed. Look, if YouTube was willing to deplatform Steven Crowder, what the fuck chance do you think you have?
None.
And that's one of the biggest guys that was on this platform.
Yep, none.
They're playing the game for reputation and to cater to the right people, and they don't care about a lot of stuff anymore. They don't care if you make them a ton of money. They don't care about free speech. They don't care about anything. And this is basically what I'm showcasing. And part of it is the AI as well. I just want
the dystopian AI. It's just like on Facebook. You cannot get a real person to help you, and YouTube is pretty much the same way. Unless you are one of these big million subscriber channels, then you have like an agent, like Quartering has mentioned before. I have an agent, and Tim Pool, I have an agent.
Hey
also,
guys,
do you have an agent?
I'm a million people away from that.
Yeah, exactly. Do you have like a personal guy? Like if you try to contact a personal guy, Helzo, they'll put you on the phone with a speaking spell.
Fuck. Or with an Indian.
Same
with
thing.
an Indian AI. With an Indian AI.
Yeah. I'd rather talk to a speak and spell, but this is happening everywhere, and it does raise the question, well, what's the solution? The solution is, quite frankly, folks, grim. The grim, because there are always solutions to problems. It's just that most solutions to problems aren't things that people are willing to do. And one of those things in this, but one of those things in this instance is say bye-bye to doing this as a career. Right? It's a lot harder on other platforms to do this as a career, unless you're just baiting people on X or blood sacrificing on Kick or licking Chris Pavlovsky's asshole on Rumble.
Yeah, look, if I did this as a career, I wouldn't be on the verge of having my electricity being shut off.
Forget about doing a career about that. Don't dare to dream, say your piece, have an opinion. Just go back, be a normal worker, work 3, 4, 5 jobs, work yourself to death, have only barely enough to sustain yourself on a rented place with 5 people in it who smell like shit, and be happy that you're alive and that we're not coming after you there, because you're not going to be allowed to think, because we don't want you to think.
Hey, Galaxy Digny, do you guys know I have more followers on Rumble than Bobby Poof, but I don't get paid Bobby Poof money? I'm just saying. It's
ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And and for a time, Galaxy, right? Rampage Jackson got his own. That's why the whole thing with the quartering. Oh, we don't give contracts. Bullshit.
You just
Of
gave
course
2
you
out.
You just gave 2 out to Rampage Jackson and Bobby Poof, right? Now Rampage did grow quite quickly on Rumble, but when we were covering it on Cancel This Podcast, it was quite clear he had less support than Cancel This Podcast. Of course, Rumble play favorites. In YouTube's case, the platform's so huge that it has to be monitored by technology that cannot be controlled. If YouTube admit that, though, public confidence in their platform will utterly collapse.
True.
Well, that's the problem, though, Digny. Like you said, and like we discussed with the Oscars, this is the mainstreamification of YouTube. YouTube, they're taking the you out of YouTube. They don't want you. What they want are the Jimmy Kimmel lives, the Stephen Colbert lives, the Oscars, the NFL, right? They want to reinvent television, essentially. And for them to reinvent TV, that means the people they want to shut up and just watch the TV and consume the content cannot be allowed to create the content.
Yep.
Therefore, YouTube puts you ass out. You are expendable to YouTube. I'm expendable to YouTube. That's why I never even tried.
YouTube as well.
Exactly.
You're not
exactly
wanted because you don't agree. You're a problem. Cause this is like modern day corporations. If you stir the waters, if you ask for your rights, and you don't listen to your bosses, or you're just daring to ask questions like I am in the same situation in my day job, and I am an undesirable in my own company that I have worked with for more than 3 years. Yes, asking questions about being what your job is. Yeah, I see. I see what.
Oh boy, it's Digny's JBL variant.
Yeah. No. I'm gonna be the new general manager of AAA. Okay.
I'm gonna promote Clankus.
No,
Oh
but
my
that's sadly that is the world we are heading into, folks. A world where the physical and digital world merge, and where technology, both hardware and software, is integrally involved in the lives of the citizenry.
There's a word for that. Dystopia.
Yes, and
Quite
we are
frankly.
heading. What at this point we just need to see what kind of dystopia we're gonna get. Are we gonna get the post-nuclear dystopia? Are we going to get a environmental dystopia from a nuke? Let's say another nuclear plant like Chernobyl blows up, but this time it actually finishes the job and all the reactors blow up, making 3 continents uninhabitable for the next 500 years. Or we're gonna have this dystopia where you're just working in the field and feeding the rich while clankers are beating your ass each day.
I agree with St. Hugo. We're getting all of them combined. It's going to be every Black Mirror episode just piled up on top of each other.
With our luck, we're gonna get the jackpot. You get all 3. You get. You know why? Because you don't get to choose.
I want to say this though. If you are doing this, like if you are a content creator like us, look, like Helzo said, the money, they're trying to dry up the money, essentially is what it is. They don't want you to make a living out of this. But that being said, if you really do have a passion for this, at this point, you have to do it for the love of the game and accept the fact you may not make any money. You may be a poor, just like me, where you're struggling to pay your phone bills, struggling to pay your electric bill. All right. Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't people who will support you. There are some great people who have supported, various streams and shows on here over the years. I see several of them in the chat, great people. But you have to understand that the idea of, you're not going to become the next one of these big guys, these Tim Pools. And by the way, the universe has decided they don't want another quartering. They don't want the quartering they have. They don't want another one. So if you thought you were going to live to retire on this, I've got some bad news for you.
Oh, what makes it even worse?
We need to get Digny the bad news Barrett podium. Just get a bad lower.
Oh, we're rated by the quartering, and there you go.
Oh boy.
I just want people to realize, and it's great to see all the fine folks in the chat and those watching live. I want to make it very clear that many years ago, I made the hypothesis that if all the money dried up from content creation, about 90% of all the creators on YouTube would just disappear if the money dried up. And I've both as a cartoon and as a human being, I've interacted with hundreds upon hundreds of content creators. I could probably name a handful of people, maybe 2 handfuls of people as creators who would do this if nothing was coming in. out of hundreds, out of many, many hundreds. And that's not a slight against them. I know how the world works. We don't live on rainbows and fairy dust. But the vast majority of creators, especially those who do well and resonate and gain support, they're in it for the fame and fortune, right? People call it grifting. I don't like that term. First of all, it's not an accurate term because these people aren't lying to their viewers, right? But when it comes to the fame and fortune part of that term, that I absolutely agree with, right? A lot of people do this as a foundation. They do it because they enjoy doing what they do. But after a while, if you put enough in, you're expecting some out. And when it comes to content creation, it's the Pareto principle, right? 90% of what we do as creators is the top 10% that do the most out of it positively. I was lucky for a time to be part of that top 10%, and now I'm not. And quite frankly, there will come a time where the vast majority of creators won't be getting anything in. They won't be getting fame or fortune in, and most of those people will fade away, and I will take off this fucking cartoon visage and smile as they do it, because it proved me right all those years ago. And I get it. You got to keep the lights on. You got to feed your kids. I get all of that. But I also get that under that same mindset, the opposition have got you. If they know how to get to you, whether it's your electric bill or your kid's nappy bill or your cat's food bill, they'll say, well, I'll help you. Just support me. And that's them being nice.
And that's sort of been the thing with me. I could easily have sold out to certain people that wanted to give us money, but I would have had to become a parody of myself. And I don't want to do that. I want to be able to do things on my terms. So sometimes doing things on your terms means going the hard way and possibly being broke. All right. Because yeah, sure. I could have taken the bribe, and I could have had dignity, had an obese redneck chain smoking and yelling the N-word on the top of his lungs, thinking it was peak comedy. Whose mind is stuck in the 1990s. He thinks like the same 3 episodes of Simpsons are fucking funny. Like no, I can't do that. I would end up. I would end up becoming the painter, and by painter I mean Kurt Cobain, because you know what, his ceiling was painted. All right, because I just can't do it. I don't have the mindset to do that. But if I want to take the bribe, that's what I would have done. And our show would still only have 800 fucking people.
And on my end, guys, if I had just moderated myself a little bit, if I just compromised myself a little bit, just to not cause any potential controversies, I would have done so well. Fame.
You should have sold the coffee. You should have sold the coffee, Digny.
I could have been a reaction channel, guys. I could have been a simple reaction channel, because I started 10 years ago, 11 years ago. I started as a reaction channel. It was a good thing. Like, it was nice, fun. I didn't have that mindset that I have now. I didn't have the opinions that I have now, and I didn't have the need to post my opinions. I could have just stayed a reaction channel. I can tell you, I'll probably be doing much better than I'm doing now. But
I could
only on one end.
And here's the irony. Oh, go ahead, Diggy.
Yeah. I was just going to say, though, I could have easily moderated myself and be like, who's this quaint, quirky little guy with the... What? He's not 26. He's always nice to everyone. He's like the old grandpa who probably dyes his own hair, right? But that wouldn't have been completely me. Yes, that is a part of me, but there is another part of me that delights in torturing my colleagues.
Well, I mean, the torture is going to come from the fact that those of you who get wiped out will be replaced. But what you're replaced with isn't just the Hollywood mainstream. No, YouTube still has to create the illusion that there's a you in there. So what they're replacing you with are these AI slop channels that come from India, not the American ones. Not the American ones, because they can't have Furious Dan and Jay Viper making AI channels. No, we can't have that. You guys are American. We don't like you guys. But those Indian guys, no, we'll let them just make AI videos of like a bootleg, like Hulk and a pet monkey running around. We'll have them pretend to be women and all this. Like, they can create whatever AI slop they want overseas. Flood YouTube, flood the zone with it. And that's fine. And they'll get monetized, by the way. They'll be making the $50,000, every so-and-so. Why is that? Because who runs YouTube? Oh, excuse me, sir. And of course, they believe in a caste system, and you're not part of their caste if you are not from their country.
Yeah, we gotta make like a train AI channel where it's like India's greatest enemy is a train, an elephant, and a guy who can't drive properly.
No, you know what we would do, Dignity? We would make an AI channel, and the hero of the story would be a spear-wielding Indian against the train and against the elephant, and he would prevail. Yeah. And then that would be the most popular show on YouTube, and it would probably make a gazillion dollars.
And his name would be Sa. But quite frankly, the purge that is going on, quite frankly, it's inevitable. We're entering a stage where everyone will be wiped out in one way, shape, or form. In fact, not even deplatforming. Demonetization does the job for most creators, right? I can tell you for a fact. Let's use SNH as an example, right? Purely as an example, because you guys are aware of that show and the people on that show. I guarantee that one or two of those fine folks could continue doing this consistently on YouTube with a budget of zero. The rest would have to find other potential revenue streams in one way, shape, or form. Otherwise, sayonara, bye for now. They're gone because they got to keep the lights on. They got to feed their kids. They got to do all sorts of stuff. And it would be a completely different show with a completely different dynamic. And that change is just for one show and one group of people. Now imagine that change for all of these pop culture communities and all of these other communities on YouTube. You could argue, well, why don't they go to Rumble? Why don't they go to Kick? Because the viewers don't go there. They don't. The viewers don't go over to Kick or to Rumble. And even if they did, to my knowledge, when it comes to Rumble, Rumble's more of a stumbling block when it comes to the financial aspect, because sometimes you want to give someone a donation and it doesn't go in properly, or it does go in properly, but the payment processor takes 30%, so it's not economically viable. In Kick's case, Kick has a very big bot problem, plus you have to do egregious stuff on Kick to do well. Stuff like this commentary doesn't do well on Kick. It's never done well on Kick.
No, we don't do shit on Thursday or Tuesday. And by the way, Happy Hour and Cancels Back House are both on Kick on Tuesday and Thursday. Gaming streams don't do shit. I'm gaming on multi-streaming on Kick. Nobody cares except the bots.
That's because you're not strangling your cat or throwing your mother down the stairs or beating the living shit out of someone to the inch of their life.
I'm not in Japan breaking statues while going, yeah, slay, and all that kind of shit.
Yeah,
and then going to a labor camp.
Quite frankly, we are entering a period of the survival era of content creation, because the vast majority of creators that you know and love wouldn't be doing this if they weren't getting the fame and fortune that YouTube provides. We are the exceptions. I am a living, breathing exception to that rule. I'm still here. So much so that I put on this cartoon gimp suit every single time I'm on this fucking platform.
And that's what I gotta give Digny, by the way. When I talk about the love of the game, it's not about the money, it's the love of the game. Because he could have easily, monetized this shit. Like we've talked about, oh, you could have done Rumble Creator. He's one of the only people I know who has a Rumble channel that hasn't done Rumble Creator. Because it's not about the money. And that's the thing. Yeah. It's about the passion. And not many people have that passion anymore.
Because I went from 100 to 800 followers on Rumble, and I look at the creator program, I look at how Rumble works. A Rumble rep reached out to me. It's like, we can get you on the front page, be part of the process. But the more I looked into it, the more I came to the conclusion of the system you're building is worse than what YouTube is currently. It's worse than Twitch. I don't want to be part of that.
Look, I go to Rumble event. I go to Rumble event in the Cancels Podcast shirt, and I'm the only one wearing my own brand. Everyone else is the Rumble gear on, and I think that to them says who I'm in it for. But you know what? You're lying if you say that you're not in it for yourself. You're just lying. You're lying if you aren't in it for your personal success. It's nothing against Rumble. Look, I'll wear the hat when I'm talking about it, when we're talking about like YouTube versus these alt tech platforms, all that. But if me wearing a Cancelous Podcast shirt instead of a Rumble t-shirt at a Rumble event is somehow means that I'm not a team player, then I guess I'm who I am.
And there's a reason this isn't really brought up in the discourse. because as soon as it's brought up, everyone surrounding the person who brings it up tries to smother it, because this is a conversation that most creators don't want to talk about.
You're
This show,
Jon
and
Snow
actually-
getting stabbed by
I
the
just wanna-
watch.
I just
Oh,
want to point
damn.
out before we continue, Galaxy, what do you think? You're on Rumble and you're now with us on YouTube. What do you think about all this?
About the YouTube stuff. Well, obviously, I already say that the whole thing with it's AI and stuff like that too. So it's just like YouTube is not. They don't care. They do not care about their creators. So just unless you're like one of the big creators that are actually paying them in order to keep their stuff on there, that they don't care. You know, if you're so
Yeah.
And,
that's
and
what I think.
I
And
gotta
before
say
you-
this
you
to
mentioned
Galaxy
AI.
real quick. You know, the thing is, you know, a lot of us talk about Rumble and we talk about like that sort of mainstream, like, you know, that they do have a click at Rumble, right?
Mhm.
And that's all fine and good. They can have their click, because then on the other side, you have people like me, you have people like Maverick, you have people like Galaxy Red, you have people like Fused Aegis, who straddles two worlds because he's also in the click and out of the click because he does things his
Yeah,
own way.
'cause he's-
There's a whole group of people who support each other. Zine is on there, all of us, and we have each other's backs. Pigu Boy, all these people, Dingus the Strix. You know, you do have a group of people that do support each other that aren't part of that mainstream, you know, sort of clique. So you can sort of find your niche over there and keep things moving. It's not easy though. It's not the easiest thing in the world, but you will find it eventually. You know.
What I
And some of
want to touch upon is the AI portion, because that's something that we touch. It is the AI that's doing this. AI has been programmed or has been prompted to look for whatever. Actually, the thing is that AI was prompted to look for repetitive AI content. That was weeks ago, and apparently it's not working as intended. However, as we know, that's not the thing. They're just using this as an excuse to purge, because a lot of the people that we talked about and showcased in the beginning of this topic, every single one of them is making authentic content, and this is easily verifiable. This is easily understood. The bad thing is that YouTube either doesn't care, which is the most probable thing, and they actually endorse it behind the scenes, or the more worrying thing actually is that they can't stop it. Which if that turns out to be the case, if they can stop their own AI, just like Claude barely stopped their Mythos AI, what we talked about a few episodes ago, then we're entering into a very dark age, because this is pretty much the Skynet of YouTube.
Well, I do think, Helzo, I do think the second one is more likely, because as terrifying as it sounds, we're already living in it. Because every time YouTube has to update their algorithmic systems, their site has to stop working.
Yeah.
They literally have to stop their site running, and therefore stopping their algorithmic AI-based system in order to redo it. Thankfully, they still have that option, but they cannot control this when the platform is live.
Yeah. It's just, look, the AI is hell. I can't let you do that, Davip.
Yep.
Because you know that the guy's name isn't Dave, it's Davip or some shit.
My God is a train, Davip. I
My God is a
worship
cow.
train.
And my God is a cow. Let's see who wins. They're
dear.
gonna win, or I'm gonna win.
But it is
man.
very sad. I know the first possibility is more likely, but the second possibility does make a heck of a lot of sense. That YouTube, they can't control this algorithm while their website and while their platform is active. You may be thinking, well, what kind of company creates a program that they can't control? Have you seen Silicon Valley?
Yep.
Yeah. The reason I'm thinking it's the second, and I'm not saying that this is the more plausible scenario, but it is a plausible scenario, is that I have been rummaging and seeing posts for over a week now for like probably already thousands of posts tagging YouTube for different creators to address these issues, and there hasn't been a single reply from YouTube.
Yeah.
What I think is that if it was the first option, they'll say, "Oh, we're working on it. Relax, keep going. If you want to move out of YouTube, we don't fucking care." they're silent. Their ass is puckered, and I don't know what's happening, but I think it might be the second one.
I mean, there have been a lot of them. Look, there's been Jay Drunk 3PO twice now. Candlecast with the money thing. You got Atreus, Kata, New Blackstreet getting under attack. Like at this point, like everyone's just getting blasted by these guys, and they're not getting any sort of look. Stark of Iron just had a massive breakdown with YouTube. You cannot get help. No help is coming from within the company, and no help is coming outside, because all of us could make some noise. All of us could tag team YouTube all day. You don't think they have an automated script running their X account at this point? They're not listening to what we got to say, and that's the worst thing. And the one thing I will give Rumble, although I've heard mileage may vary, is usually if I gotta talk to someone and I email Rumble support, they may not get back at me right away, but at least a human being gets back to me at some point.
YouTube used to be like that. I've talked in the past when I was on YouTube before my break, before I became more.
Same with Odyssey. I had
a lot of conversations. A lot of conversations with YouTube reps. I've even had an audio conversation one time in 2016, which was weird. And she was Indian, but she helped me. It was an actual. I'm like, okay, great. You have customer support. That's pretty much half the way there. You got someone who's actually going to understand you. It's not going to be an algorithm that's going to get. Oh, so you want fried eggs?
Yeah. But to what Digny has said too, look, Digny said a long time ago that this was the writing on the wall when it happened to his mentor. That was the first sign, and he said it. He said it then, and a lot of people didn't want to listen. It was an isolated incident. Sorry, bro. Sorry about your damn luck. Now here are the chickens coming home to roost.
Remember what happened to Hitalik as well when he moved to Rumble for a week?
Yes, he did very well. He did very well.
Yeah, but he had to do that. He had to do that.
Yeah, but based on our perspective, he did work very well. But based on his own perspective, it didn't do well at all. It was one of the main reasons why Smash JT was very reluctant to go over to Rumble, because from a creator of our size's perspective, it did very well. But from his perspective, it didn't. Now, ultimately, he did, and multi-streaming became a thing. But one of the reasons why creators won't cross over is because they're not willing to spend a year or two rebuilding unless they have to, because that's wasted time.
No, by Smash's magnitude, Smash should be, hitting the hundreds over on Rumble. And there are some days where, we're streaming on Thursday. Smash is still going sometimes by the time we're done. And I'm like, how is it that Smash doesn't have a bigger group of people? He's a big, he's a well-known content creator, and it's because, Rumble's sort of thrown him in the back of the bus. They've thrown him in the back of the bus. And, they've thrown us in the back of the bus, but they've thrown Smash JT further. It's almost like the larger number you have on YouTube, the smaller number they even want you to have on Rumble. It's very odd the way that works.
It depends on what kind of a content you want. And from what I know, Rumble is a little bit more political.
A little bit, but that's because unfortunately free speech and this stuff that we talk about has become inherently political. That's what I try to tell people is I know that, in a perfect world, there's no politics involved in Rumble, but free speech has become a political battleground because it tends to be that one ideology tends to like to suppress people that are not part of their ideology. You don't even have to be on the right wing, but if you're not part of the mainstream sort of doctrine that is being pushed, you will be pushed out. So it turns free speech into a political issue, whereas it should not be one. There's a lot of people on Rumble who are either, sort of centrist to non-political, but they don't always, get sort of the rub. And even at that, I think that, again, one of the problems is that I do think that things may change. We may see it in the future. Rumble is saying that they are going to get away from the editor's picks and go more to a meritocracy in terms of, who gets featured when. But then, a problem that I brought up to Chris in a tweet, and I wasn't trying to shit on him. I was trying to ask him. I said, I hate to be that guy, but you're going to have to get the bot problem under control. Because what's going to happen is the botters are going to be incentivized to fake everything to get those front views.
Yeah, and that'll completely ruin
at the
Rumble.
end. If enough people were to band together and create their own platform with drugs and hookers, it's gonna be great. We can call it BenderTube, and we can have.
You just described Kick Hells, though.
Yeah, no.
wouldn't-
Like
it
we're
wouldn't-
gonna have
it-
hookers, but we're not gonna be kicking old ladies on the curb and stomping them to death.
It
And we're
wouldn't-
not gonna
it
allow
wouldn't-
Somali streamers to go to
It-
South Korea.
It wouldn't last a year because Gamergate 2 proved that small shit can make a big difference.
Yep.
Right? Unity can only keep people together for so long. And quite honestly, and I've made this clear on previous network shows, the fame and fortune seekers on any side, doesn't matter what side it's on, the fame and fortune seekers have a vested interest in ensuring the culture war is an endless war.
Mhm.
Because how can you become famous and full of fortune
Mhm.
without being known for being the guy who took down this guy or being the guy that took down this platform? Think of a content creator's great achievement, and it's
Mhm.
based off tearing something down more
Well,
often than it is building something.
Dignan, what
up.
you described is what happened with Goonergate. Look, everyone was sort of doing a victory lap that Trump had defeated Harris in the in the election, and then
Yep.
people start seeing their numbers go down because as the culture war seems to wind down, things start to go in the right direction. You run out of dragons to slay. You need to make a new one. So suddenly, people who were previously good friends with one another, showing up on each other's shows, are throwing each other under the bus. Oh, I'm sorry, you're not religious enough for my taste.
Yeah.
So screw you.
No. I remember the exact quote. We are going to be dictating gaming now. This was from one who wants to sell his book, and he
Oh, that
proclaimed
dickhead.
himself to be the control of free speech and controlling YouTube and content and what gaming is. And he
Yep.
proclaimed it. I will find
Yeah.
the tweet and I will post it in the future. He was proclaiming that he will be one of the people to control what gaming is and to promote what is good with gaming, like very
I'll
strong
tell you this,
Christian
though,
values.
Helzo. I'll tell you this though, Helzo. One of the creators who hasn't been affected by any suppression, any deplatforming, any demonetization is the man you just mentioned.
Yeah.
That man knows how to play the game of content creation very, very well. He's been doing it for a long time. His reputation among creators is completely shot, and that's completely understandable. But he still keeps on going. He still keeps on growing. And as far as I'm aware, he's making more money as a content creator than ever before.
So you're saying he is the Darth Sidious to the Quartering's Darth Vader?
Yes.
Basically, yeah. Like JDA's somehow slipping through. He's like an eel, just sleeping.
Oh no, he
through
spoke his name. Now he's gonna send a message. I heard you were talking shit about me because dude is fucking paranoid as hell.
He knows.
Fucking let him come. I've
He
been looking for a
knows
scuffle.
You can oppose the man's mindset and morals all you want. He knows how to keep on going and keep on growing. He's the embodiment of a content creator who seeks fame and fortune, who fights for himself and only for himself. Living proof that you can only, I dare say, be a great creator by being a bad person. The only difference is propaganda working and propaganda not working. I don't want to paint a broad brush, but from my analysis of very well-known creators, the majority, or I dare say the vast majority of them, are not good people. For every PewDiePie, there's at least a dozen Mr. Beasts at this point, be it people or companies. Right? It is a sad fact, but we are where we are. I mean, we could keep developing this topic to run the show to a 2-hour mark, but it just goes to show we as creators, and I want to get this across to viewers who may not be aware if you're not creators yourselves. This is an industry, whether we like to admit it or not. This is an industry. It's an industry with no clear rules. There are no rules to content creation. There are only guidelines. There are taboos. There are even unwritten rules that even if you point out, you will face condemnation from your colleagues, like secret society Illuminati level shit. I know because I've gone through it. I've experienced it. And I don't stand to gain anything from lying to people. I know prominent creators who hate their own audiences. I know prominent creators who are willing to stream with people they hate in order to gain the support of their viewers. It's a very dark industry. That's why I say there's not much of a difference between this and Hollywood or this and Washington. I personally believe in openness, honesty, and transparency between the creator and the viewer, which is why I have to start again from scratch, whereas those I came up with have kept on going and kept on growing.
Well, that's also why Game of Thrones appeals to you so much, because it's very similar to Game of Thrones. You win or you die.
Yes, I am a Stark of Winterfell.
Anyways, we're all going to see the end one way or another. And it's not going to be pretty. We'll just see how long we're going to start. It might just be after the show. Because this might be the last show.
Oh, boy, we're going to get
the last show. I'm not. I'm
33.
I am removing the Sony to curse every single time. 33 episodes, and we're still here. We've lasted longer than some of the YouTubers that I've showcased. And before we continue, I just want to say thank you to Stu, who used the donation link that says "fuck you" to YouTube and doesn't take 30% off, and donated $10. Thank you very much, man. Everything goes towards the channel and helping homeless animals. So we're doing good. We're eating rich. I can actually buy bread next month.
Oh damn,
bread.
I mean, from my own personal perspective, I've always done this on a budget of $0. I'm very grateful for everyone's support, whether it's viewership, live, replay, likes, shares, reposts, donations, that sort of thing. But I've always believed that there will come a time when everyone gets wiped out. And some people call that a doomer mindset. Some people call it a black pill mindset. Why do you think for the past nearly 5 years, I have tried to bring more and more people into this space to become creators? It was to fill in the void left behind from the creators who get purged. No one else was doing it. And to my knowledge, no one else is doing it now. Because there are too many people who are self-interested in building their own power bases. Well, your power bases aren't going to exist for much longer. You'll be lucky. You'll be lucky if you can ride the gravy train of fame and fortune until 2028 at this point, the way things are going politically. Good luck to you. I hope you drown in your own hubris at this point.
That's why I decided to get a foothold in alt tech, not big tech, because I don't feel the need to go through all of the hoops that everyone goes through with YouTube. Look, I got enough gray hairs dealing with my 73-year-old mother. I don't need to get a bunch more from dealing with YouTube's drama.
I just want to say that on that note, that we're such on a positive streak, I think the next topic is going to solidify everything lovely that has been going on the show. And I think everybody's going to feel a lot better about everything. So if you want, we can move on to that topic to just wrap everything in a very nice bow of nihilism and desperation. I think that's a good way to start a Monday.
By all means.
So the next topic, are you going to mark it down for 1 hour and 38?
Yes.
1 hour and 38.
Well, I don't know what the next topic is, so you're going to have to elaborate.
Well, the next topic is coming from the European Commission. And our data, basically. That doesn't mean your data, because your data does also go to Europe when you do search. And I'm just going to read this from the International Cyber Digest. This is something some of you know that I used to work, and I still kind of work in relations to the GDPR directive. I used to be a data protection officer in the past. And to me, this is probably one of the most vile and repulsive things to have ever come out. So let me just read a little bit. The European Commission is about to steal your search history in one of the largest forced data grabs in the history of the open internet. And almost nobody is talking about it. Yeah, that's because things like that don't usually get promoted on the net. So the scope is the following. Every query type, every voice and photo search, every autocomplete you accept, your language, your device, your country pinned to a around 3 square kilometer grid, every result you saw, every link you hovered, not clicked, hovered, every click and scroll, the full chronological order of your search sessions. That means that the European Union now knows your health symptoms, pregnancy, sexual orientation, political views, religious beliefs, financial distress, legal trouble, addiction, and affairs. I'm going to stop here and just say something. They already know that, and it's not only the European Union, but every single government kind of knows that, because these kinds of followings on your personal data are an open secret. However, this, what I'm reading now, means that it's now officially going into the directive, into an official European directive, which is called DMA Article 611. And this is going to order to be presented to Google, and Google will be ordered to ship the daily search behavior of hundreds of millions of Europeans to multiple third parties through an API feed. So we have talked about data privacy and all data breaches with Discord, with other companies that have had a lot of leaks. We had GTA servers were hacked and stuff like that. We have had all of these. How do you think this will fare with hackers, with all the personal data? And this is not only your email, phone, and address. And Jace, I know you're smiling.
Everything.
I can see you're smiling. I will pull it up in just a bit because I see it. But this is everything. And this, again, they know it already. I can tell you, everybody who uses, who has used even the internet and what we have talked, if I now talk about how good Michelin tires are for about 10 seconds, when I open my phone in 5 minutes, I would get an offer for Michelin tires. And this has been happening ever since I got a smartphone. This is an open secret. Everybody knows they are listening to us, but it's not being confirmed. Now it is. It's basically confirmed. They're going to have all your data, and it's an open directive by the European Union. And I just want to ask you, how long do you think this is going to take for it to be proposed to the United States in a fresh new way?
Less than 3 months.
Yeah.
Less than 3 months after this happens. You best start believing dystopian nightmares, Miss Turner. You're in one.
Yep.
Oh, my God.
Well, the interesting part about all this,
the world as we know it.
Google will build a backdoor, and this will be hacked until it's no longer a piece of legislation. Because it's not in these companies' interests to have government involvement in the digital realm. So Google will build a discrete backdoor so that hackers can get in, and then Google's like, "Oh no! All these hacks happened. This is what happens when we listen to government about an industry they don't understand. Now let us regulate ourselves, and this will never happen again."
Oh, I mean, but to be fair, Digny, that's not going to stop the bad guys from finding other ways to do the shit that they do. Because if you see it right here, wrong tab. Let me share this one. Yep. And if you look at their actual homepage, which was what I was trying to pull up, here it is. Look at this. Look what it says on the homepage of Palantir for those who've never gone there.
Yep.
AI-powered automation for every decision.
Every decision. Yes.
Every decision. And that's what they want for this world.
And you have this, and you have this. And this is basically the LDR version of what I initially shared. The European Commission is pushing Google to share its massive anonymous search data with rival search engine and qualifying AI chatbots under the article of the Digital Markets Act. That means they're going to use it to push promotional stuff, to push your narratives, to push your news, what news you read, what products you get, what, let's say, advertisements, be it for a product or a political party you have. That doesn't matter. This is, again, whatever happens either in the US or in the European Union or in China, several months, as Jay said, 3 months is in the entire world. If something gets pushed, everybody else is trying to push it because they want the same level of control everywhere. They're just trying it in different places. They're okay, let's try this here and see how it goes, because it's a little bit tricky for us. But if they do it, we can tweak it appropriately. We'll see how they react there, and then we have it here. And this is all, again, AI. It's going to be fed into AI, and the AI is going to learn about you and every person's interest. And once Skynet is born, it will know exactly where to find you, because they will know how you think.
Hey,
Fuck
remember
me.
Remember this also. Remember this, if nothing else, is that there's some people who want you to know one thing, and that's one thing only. You will own nothing, and you will be happy. Our boy Klaus Schwab. These unelected bureaucratic assholes will never stop until they've got everything. And it reminds me a little bit of Westworld. I don't know if you guys were familiar with Westworld, which is great because Dingy's wearing the cowboy hat.
First season was amazing.
First season was excellent. Second season was all right. And then it started to go into the girl boss territory, which made it sort of unpalatable. But stomaching through the annoying overuse of Tessa Thompson, one of the things that they start touching on seasons 3 and 4 is the idea of algorithming your entire life to the fact that they know when you're going to die, how you're going to die, when your partner's going to give birth, when they're going to cheat on you, what you're going to do, if you're a murderer, when you're going to murder someone, who you're going to murder. Like, they want, this is them trying to create an effect where they know what every single human is about, what their breaking points are, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, what they could use them for, what they can manipulate them into. A lot of people think, oh, it's just they're just going to send more intrusive ads like they already do. No, they want to know everything. There are, I believe there's a theory out there that Facebook basically knows when you take a dump, because they're aware of what time you use your phone, when you use your phone. By the way, here's the dystopian part about it, because I already see people going, oh, well, good thing I'm not on Facebook. It doesn't matter, because you know someone who is, and because it shares contacts with everyone. You don't need to have a Facebook. You're saved in someone's phone who has a Facebook under a certain contact detail, and they have that.
You're not on Facebook, but they can detect when after a night your phone becomes active, when you first check it in the morning and check your emails and everything. Then what you do for the next, let's say 15 minutes, and everybody knows that most people with smartphones take their smartphones to the bathroom and basically doom scroll while they shit. And it's obviously not going to be 100% of the people, but it's going to be 90% of the human population, because we do have the off-grid nut jobs, of course. But if you want to control the population, this is how you do it. You introduce the most convenient little thing that is always with us. It has several microphones. It always becomes better. The microphone and the listening device become better. The camera becomes better. You have everything. It's very intuitive. You have your finger or face ID. Everything is recorded. Everybody's stored in the most secure cloud in the world that is never going to be hacked. It's never going to be there. And it knows all that you want. It reminds you of everything. It is always online. It always has everything for you on a plate. You want to know something? It's there. It is your friend. Trust it. Trust it.
I don't want to be hacked, guys, but also I have one of these. Like, that's sort of how everybody sort of acts with it. Oh, yeah. Well, like I tell people that all the time about their privacy. I'm like, that ship is sailed. If you have a phone, your privacy is long gone.
Yep. Even if you, by the way, I'm gonna tell you something else. Even if you don't have a smartphone, if you use the old phones without an operating system and stuff like that, they record as well. They record that as well. So good luck with that.
That's why I leave one. That's why I leave one in my bed.
At this point, owning nothing and being happy is even better than what we're probably going to face in the near
If you're one of those old school people who doesn't have a cell phone and you have a pager, I've got some bad news for you. Netanyahu knows your location.
Yep.
And you're going to get blown up, quite frankly.
Good luck.
I mean, quite frankly, in here we were gods, and you merely our guests.
Yep.
That's the world these people want to build. Yep. They want to build a West world. They want to build.
This is why aliens don't come. When aliens pass through Earth, they say, "Oh, this is the ghetto," and they roll their windows.
You're wrong. You're wrong. We are led by aliens.
Maybe one of the gangsters.
Hey, it wasn't long ago we were talking about LinkedIn. You know,
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
that's networking,
Yeah.
baby.
Well,
We got everything.
everybody, and now with that directive that we're talking about, they're gonna get everything through LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, X, YouTube, everything, every little website. Yeah, and doesn't matter. By the way, it doesn't matter if you're in incognito mode. It
Mhm.
doesn't matter. Trust me.
Look, you don't think they're tracking us through our video games too at this point? That's why they want
No,
everything to be live
They
service.
are. They are. They are.
Live service.
Maverick, Jesus did come back. It was in the year 1933, and he was defeated by Hell's great armies in the year 1945. I will not elaborate on
And-
that.
So what? So what? Like the Moscow winter and the Moscow terrain was actually hell freezing over. I can actually believe that.
Yes. The armies of Satan rose up across the world to defeat the second coming of Christ.
And they
the
shouted,
Great Heavenly
"Blyat!"
War. In the Great Heavenly War. And 1945 became the new 00 AD. We now live in the year 81 AD or SAD. Sad.
Somewhere
It's
out
the
there, an
second
FBI
after
agent is
death.
smoking a joint, and he say, "Who the fuck is this hype cracker?"
I want to push the conspiracy theory, folks, that Jesus Christ did return. The second of coming of Christ did happen, and his name was Adolf Hitler.
And these were the guys who defeated him.
We
Wait,
live
I
in
have,
hell.
I have the perfect comic strip for you. I have the perfect comic strip. Hello.
Yes.
That is amazing.
We live in the year 81 SAD, second
Sad.
after death. We live in 81 SAD, folks.
Oh my God, this is great.
We lost.
This is
We live
this
in
is
hell.
15 years old, by the
Yes.
way.
I recently, well, not recently, but a few years back, I discovered the conspiracy theory that Jesus Christ did return, but he was in fact Adolf Hitler. And I've always thought, let's mainstream this because that
Yes.
will lead to a total ban of Christianity.
Well, in the words of Helzo, welcome to the final episode of Discuss Things.
Yeah.
James.
And it's a great episode to end the show on. Episode 33, The Disaster
Expedition
Show.
33.
Yes.
And let's let's end on a positive thing, all right?
Yes.
Digny's about to
really end it.
replace Helzo with
If we're
Verso.
going to end, if my channel, like if this is the last time, we are going to end it on a good one. And Galaxy, do you have anything to say about it? Because sorry for you were a bit quiet on that.
Yeah, I was busy on something else, but yeah,
right.
I was listening
You
and commenting, but yeah. It's
What
all
do you
right, go ahead.
make of the Jesus is Hitler conspiracy?
They're crazy.
Excellent.
No.
That's very good.
They both achieved great miracles.
Yes.
Oh
Thank you
boy.
very much. This was the last time. But as a very quick thing, I just
One fed the 5,000, the other killed 6 million in 3 years.
and also he killed 2 camels.
And 2
Why
camels.
2 camels? Because nobody asks about the 6 million.
Oh wow.
Yes.
But on a positive end, because this is the last time you're gonna see us, I want to put this on, and it has been a year since
Wow.
Expedition 33 came out. It's actually over a year on on April 24th. It was, and they sold 8 fucking million copies. 8 million fucking copies right as the year happened. And again, but for me, this is I know people were gonna say no, this is not the best game. For me, from my experience in gaming, this is the best game I have played. I haven't played every single game. I know that they're probably good retro games and other good games, but for me, this is the best experience that I have had in gaming. I still listen to the whole soundtrack. I still replay the game. I still get emotional over everything that's happening there, and I still want more.
Dude, I just finished Act 1 on Wednesday night last week, and I was floored. I was floored. It's so good. I would say, every bit of the hype that this game has gotten is deserved. This is probably this generation's Final Fantasy VI in terms of possibly being one of the best RPGs ever crafted. And it's deserved. It's not hype. It's not bluster. I don't ever buy into hype. And for me to say that this game is amazing, this is fucking spot on. I was actually agreeing with Ben Starr, who said that he doesn't think there should be a movie. I agree, because I don't think you can convey this. I don't think you can convey that level of art into a 2-hour movie. It just is impossible.
Even in the best case scenario, which I think one of the best cases scenario and as an adaptation as a whole in recent years is One Piece, not just in gaming. You cannot convey what the art style and you just cannot transfer this into a different format and have the same. It might be good. It might be good, but it will never. And I'm not saying because I don't believe in good movie makers and stuff like that. You cannot. Like video game world and video game design allows you to do stuff and to convey it in a way that you just can't. It can't do it in everybody. You might be able to do a decent job, but it's never gonna be the same. It's simply never gonna be the same.
Expedition 33 has reshaped the gaming industry. It took a little time, but you're starting to see a lot of companies start to get nervous now, whether it's Ubisoft, whether it's Square Enix with Evercold, Ubisoft now retreating back to Black Flag. Like, they're looking at what Claire Obscure Expedition 33 did, and they're like, whoa, we need to shape up or we're gone, because there is competition out there. There is potential for us to be knocked off our high horse and to never rise again. And if we want to compete, and we want to look, it's Claire Obscure's world. We're just living in it at this point. These game companies need to get with the program, and I'm glad, because I think that if you didn't have Expedition 33, you would not see course correction in other parts of the game industry. It sort of opened the door and led the way for a lot of other great AA and indie titles. Sort of, flood the zone with good content. And I think that's changing.
You said reshaped. I would say that it reminded us what gaming could be. It reminded us what actual wanting to not leave a game and not stop playing the game. I will tell you a story. On Saturday, my girlfriend, my wife, for the first time, played Expedition 33. She got through the prologue. She's not a gamer in any sense of the word. She left the prologue. She had she was managing the controller and everything. She got through the prologue just after the beach scene in the beginning and stuff like that. And she was like, I want more. She's not a gamer, all right? She's not I can talk to her about games, and I can talk to how excited I am about a game. And she's like, she's understanding, she's amazing. And that's she's understanding, she's asking questions, she's interested in my interest. That's why I'm able to do what I'm doing. And but she's not a gamer, all right? She's not me. She's not like me gushing over Mouse PI or something like that, And she played it and she's like, I want more. Like, I want to see where this goes. I want to see what happens. I want to see the story, And that's it. That's what games used to do. They used to turn even the normiest of normies is like, ooh, I'm interested in that. Let's see that this is going to become the beginning of my gaming journey.
Yeah, Esky's entire existence is so hilarious that my girlfriend doesn't play video games, and she saw it and she just cracked the fuck up at everything coming out of that guy's mouth.
Oh yeah. Wine. Amazing.
It's just, where does the franchise go from here to make this conversation a bit more grounded? It's that usually, if you're going to be inspired by Final Fantasy, then you're going to have to take the franchise in a different direction. I always thought a great title for a second game would be Riders War. As in, you're one of the riders, and you're part of this expedition of riders, and the big boss at the end is Clea. She's off to fight her one-woman war against the riders. Well, you write things into existence while she paints things into existence, and you've got to use different words and languages to create constructs and things, while she uses her nevrons to battle you. So you can reuse assets, folks.
One of the things that I think, and this is a conspiracy theory that I read and I fully agree, is that the painters outside of the canvas, and sorry, Jace, I don't know how, like, have you played the whole game before?
No, he
No.
hasn't.
Oh fuck! Shit! Sorry.
He's only done what, like the Act 1, I think.
Like,
he said, right?
It's
I
all
think
right.
it's. I think it's.
all
I
right.
think it's. I'll just say. I think it's. What was that film with Leonardo DiCaprio? Dream Within a Dream.
Titanic.
No.
The next game is going to be like Titanic, where they all get on a ship and it sinks, and they have to work together to fix the ship. That'd be
We need a
interesting.
Titanic sequel in the Strait of Hormuz.
Straight to Titanic.
But quite frankly, in terms of where the franchise should go, I think it should go into a direction of building upon the story of how it culminated, and then expand it into the world that key story is based off of. Sort of the first game was the inside struggling to get out, and the second game should be the outside
Jace, don't
struggling
listen.
to get in a sense, right? To such an extent where we saw the journey of Expedition 33 and the many surprises therein from the inside coming out. For the next game, Riders War, I think it should be a story of an expedition of riders on the outside on their journey coming in, which could lead to a third game of the first and second game stories clashing with one another, and returning characters from both games facing one another in a third game that is very choice based. You could pick one side, you could pick the other side. This is what Mass Effect 3 should have been. Do you pick the Alliance or do you pick fucking Cerberus? That's what it should have been.
Oh, Helzo.
Yes.
The movie you were thinking of was Inception.
Yeah, exactly.
Titanic.
I will say this: they did such a great job with the first game that it's going to be a tough act to follow, even for them to outdo themselves. So they've got a lot of work ahead.
What they said, they are not planning an expansion of their team, or not a sensible expansion, like they might hire 2 or 3 people more. They're going to continue doing what they did, and they said we're not in it for just making like bombastic. We want to continue doing what we're doing, and we know what we're doing. Like they're people exactly like ex-Ubisoft developers, people who learned all the mistakes from AAA developers, and they said we're going to do the opposite. And what happened? One of the best-selling games, the best awarded games in existence, in comparison to its budget, which is slightly below $10 million. 8 million copies, $50 each, and that's discounting the merchandise, that's discounting the music, that's discounting everything. Europe, the Clair Obscur orchestra, which is traveling through Western Europe for the last 6 months without a break, and they're having concerts every couple of days in France, Belgium, Netherlands. They're going to Italy, and they're traveling that, and they're going to move. They're going to go to the United States. They have been filling up the concert halls with tens of thousands of people every single time. People are not there, and that's how you. And by the way, that's how you transcend the gaming with the soundtrack. Witcher 3 did it. Witcher 3, by the way, did it. A lot of other games did it.
Square Enix used to have that with Dragon Quest, with Sugiyama, with Uematsu, with Final Fantasy. I mean, with an RPG, the music has to set the tone of the entire game. It's not like one of these games you turn off the music and play your own music. Like, people do that, it drives me crazy. I think the music is part of the art, but I do want to say, as far as that's concerned, they looked at what Square Enix did. Square Enix used to have, as Square, a certain team that worked on Final Fantasy, and they started letting new people in, and then the old people got pushed out, and then the new people made Final Fantasy unrecognizable. And they're not going to make that same mistake. If you look again, by the time of Final Fantasy X-2, the entire Final Fantasy team was essentially gone, and then X-2 is one of the worst games ever created.
Well, I'm of the mindset of this should not be like Final Fantasy that never ends and essentially destroys itself. I'm under the mindset that this should be a trilogy, and that the
Mhm.
first game should be its own game of
Mhm.
the insider coming out. The
Mhm.
second
Nah.
game should be about the other
Reverse
side
earmuffs.
who are on the outside going on their journey to come in, and then the third game is the conflict between the two. So it's that kind of trilogy where you get to pick one side or the other, and then they wrap it up. Because if they take the Final Fantasy route of, oh, let's do this, clair obscure this, clair obscure that, clair obscure the other, it'll get to a point where it will suffer the same fate as Final Fantasy. It will lose its way. It should take the Mass Effect approach in having an overarching story over 3 games. But unlike Mass Effect, it doesn't have to stick with one character. You can have one character set of characters for the first game, one set of painters for the first game, one set of writers for the second game, and a conflict between the two in the third.
I think it's just about enough on that because Jace is going to freeze like that.
And I've stopped speaking now.
I was gonna say that I've managed to. The game has been out a year. The game has been out a year, and I managed to avoid spoilers so well that I was completely blindsided by the end of Act 1. Like what happens at the end of Act 1, which is significant. I was completely like thrown off guard, and you can see it on stream. I'm just like in complete like shock while I'm going through the events.
Not say anything and go 5 more minutes and he's having you like this. It was amazing. Like, can I go now? Can I go now? Can I go now?
But a part of what Jace is talking about is really what made Expedition 33 this lightning in a bottle game, because we were all expecting something, and then as Jace experienced in the first act, it completely changed. It's hard to do that in the second game because we know what we know, the three of us. Jace doesn't know the full picture, but we know what we know, right? Knowing what we know, it's harder to catch folks off guard if we're looking at from the opposite perspective, and then because it has to be a journey-based game. It has to be, right? And it's hard to catch people off guard because let's say the antagonist, hypothetically, the antagonist for the second game is a protagonist from the first game, right?
Yeah, that was great.
That would be a crazy thing.
And that off right there.
Jace is like Pavlov's dog. He hears something about Expedition 33 and already knows how to react.
Jace knows this in regards to Gustav being offed, right? Here's a crazy hypothetical for you guys. What if he's the bad guy in the second game against a force that we don't know too much about in the first game?
I'll just say that the realm of possibilities is endless in that type of game.
You know what I find interesting, and I will say this, is that with what we're seeing with Square Enix right now, with the announcement of the new Final Fantasy 14, the tone has changed, and I don't think you would have gotten that tonal shift without an Expedition 33 existing. Because they went back to the darker tone of Final Fantasy 14 that people liked with Shadowbringers. They went right back to that tone. Dawn Trail, it might as well not have fucking happened. Because you look at the trailer for Dawn Trail, and it just looks goofy. You've got lizards running around, you've got this stupid furry. Welcome to my home, and it's like, oh my god. And you go this, it's like the world is a very dark and cold, miserable place. What are you going to do about it?
So.
Well, the initial trailer for Dawn Trail was actually a lot more fun compared to where they actually.
Yeah, but it was too light. It was too lighthearted. It was too lighthearted.
I know, but it was supposed to have been like us being on vacation, not going out and doing something like that.
I would rather take a vacation in Iran than a vacation to meet Wuklamat Galaxy.
Okay,
yeah, I know, but I'm saying that was not the.
I know.
I hope I wanted Final Fantasy to be dead for the last 20 years. I'm 26. I've wanted Final Fantasy dead since I was 6.
That's because when you were born, like it was already going downhill.
Exactly, like WCW and Final Fantasy. 1999 wasn't a great year for them, but it's been a great year for this bitch. What did she say?
Oh,
The
boy.
last time the Alien Enemies Act was invoked, it was used to detain and deport German, Japanese, Italian immigrants during World War XI.
Doing
last
World War
time
Eleven.
The Alien
World War 11. World War 11.
11.
Is she from the year
Is she-
3000?
No, she's got to be a lot longer than that, I think, right? 'Cause
War-
you know,
War-
you know what I'm saying, like,
Like she's
I mean,
she's looking into the future. I
Holy
think the
shit.
yeah, but
crystal
if it
ball
was
is in
3000,
her
that would be
turban.
like,
Hey,
gonna be
settle
like-
down, children. Settle down, children. Courtesy of Bricksuit, quote, Ilhan Omar pronounces World War II as World War 11. Unbelievable. As she wears a new brain implant.
I weep
Yeah.
for humanity.
I was just saying that it's like, if it really was like going to be like World War 11 by the year 3000, that means it's going to be 9 more world wars before we get there.
Yep.
So are
Yep,
we?
it's gonna be great.
Does that mean that we're having Windows 2 now?
I don't know how
Yeah, because
so,
it's just
but I
Windows
know
11, so it's 2 instead.
I know one thing, guys.
Mhm.
Germany's gonna win one of them.
Whee!
They're 2-0 down. If there's like 11 world wars, they're gonna have to win one of them.
Look, if we survive the next world war, prepare to hone your skills in spear checking.
That is very offensive. I should now cancel you forever for that. But on that note, ladies and gentlemen, let's
you can
move
cancel
to,
these podcast nuts.
yes, 2 hours, 11 minutes, and 20 seconds. I can't wait for Claire Obscure Writers War. And if they don't make it, I'm going to write fan fiction called Claire Obscure Writers War. Okay? That's what I'm going to do. But future plans, ladies and gentlemen, let's start off with Galaxy Red.
Yeah, tonight, in about like a little over an hour, Crimson Desert. Going back to Crimson Desert. That's pretty much it.
Good. Good. We need Crimson Desert's massive world with Expedition 33's.
No.
No, we don't.
No.
Yes,
No.
we
But it-
do.
But
Yes, we do.
another thing
We
too,
do.
they had like a latest a patch like last week for Crimson Desert, and they added they fixed the controls. There was a new controller preset that they added in for the control for actually like the controller and the keyboard basically, but the controller is the one's the most important for me because that's what I played on. And the default controls, there was like you had to when you hit they put interact on the same button as jump, which was fucking stupid.
I hate that.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
that's
then they added when they added this new one, they put interact on another button instead. So interact is now if you've got the Xbox controller, it'd be the Y button, and jump is still an X, so that's fine. But
Let's
So it's like-
use Expedition 33's combat in Crimson Desert and Crimson Desert's combat in Expedition 33. That'd be crazy, wouldn't it? How the fights
You-
would be
how-
so
how
much
would-
different.
okay,
And one of
Oh,
them
no,
is
no.
going to be Devil May Cry,
Yes.
and the
So
other
Square
is going to be
Finally
Infinite.
be able to adapt it properly.
We have real quick before the show ends, I'm going to share a screen of somebody else who's been demonetized by YouTube, and here we go. The response
Yeah.
was to uphold the demonetization. By the way, check your DM for an update.
Aiden, I was on a show with Aiden once. She's very intellectual, very very intelligent. She is an intellectual. She has a notoriously bad memory though, and she's a bit autistic.
So it's interesting.
Oh,
but
yeah,
this
that's
is
AI. That's AI. Absolutely AI.
It's A1.
Yep. Yep.
A1. A1 is a
A11.
mobile company.
Linda
A11.
McMahon, the education secretary in the United States, called AI A1. Why
Oh, yeah.
couldn't Vince
Steak sauce.
shit on you? Okay.
Well, how do you think
Well, thank
Stephanie
you for
was
being here
born,
for the-
Digney?
Oh
Well, this
dear.
is the
Out
last
of
one
Linda's
anyway.
ass. But how about you, Jace? What are your future plans?
Well, if my electricity doesn't get shut off because I'm poor, and also I'm sick, so I'm dying. See what I mean? But
So it's
that's
one or
the
the other.
Jews trying to get rid of me. But yeah, so I'll be streaming later tonight. I'll be trying to do a little Final Fantasy 11, a little Dragon Quest 10 over on rumble.com/cancel this podcast, where you can find me because I don't want to get removed from life by YouTube. Also, John and Digny will be doing happy hour tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern on the channel. There'll be a new content update for Final Fantasy 14. I'll be starting that on Tuesday evening. Hopefully, we'll see if they start to course correct, because the course correction starts with the new patch that's sort of the precursor to that new expansion that's coming out in about 7 months. So I'm optimistic. Well, I'm also being realistic. I will temper my expectations. But you can catch all that action on our Rumble channel, rumble.com/cancel podcast. We're just about 30 followers away from 2,700. We're also only one follower away from 1,000 over on Odyssey, so be sure to follow us on Odyssey as well. And again, we are too crude for YouTube. This is only a sample size. I'm a lot worse on my own channels. I like to say magical words that you cannot say on here. Some that begin with the letter F, some that begin with the letter N. I don't duck those magic words.
Yeah.
And
I'm brown enough. I'm brown enough that I can say the word. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And R as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Guys,
That's your
Tuesday
culture?
night.
I don't like it.
Oh, damn. Sabrina, settle down, Sabrina. Otherwise, I'm going to give you to Abu. But quite frankly, Tuesday's network show is going to be incredible. Me and John are going to debate Michael Jackson. We're also going to talk more about it on Thursday. It's like, did he do it or did the Jews do it? Okay, folks.
Oh boy.
Yeah, apparently Alki John has been going at it on Cancel This Podcast Facebook page about the whole Michael Jackson debate. Was he an Epstein? Did he try to stop Epstein? All sorts of crazy things. But my future plans, more videos, more shows, more videos from said shows. Survival's the key, folks. We will survive all of our contemporaries. All of them. All of them. Doesn't matter how much money they make. Doesn't matter how much fame they amass. They will all head into the abyss.
When one falls, we continue.
Yes.
Yes.
And I can't wait for the blacks to fall into the abyss. Because I'll be like, where are you, Atreus? Where are you, Kata? I can't find you.
They're gonna smile and blind you.
Because everything is black in the abyss. So how about you, Elzo?
Well,
what about your
in
future
my
plans?
most immediate future plans, I will try not to laugh myself to death on that.
Oh, near.
God damn it.
Oh my God.
This is
I was going to go on.
And-
This is Sylvester Stallone.
Sylvester Stallone. As for my other future plans, I'm going to be apparently playing Pragmata next. I did a poll on my channel after finishing Mouse PI. I did get a very generous Steam donation in terms of a wallet money to buying Crimson Desert, but the person is very understanding that I'm going to play Pragmata with. I'm gonna purchase it with my own money and keep his money for Crimson Desert afterwards. Gonna be streaming it probably tomorrow. Gonna try to make some more videos this week. Still have some stuff to do around the game and stuff like that because I just don't have time. And I'm trying to fight a war on my daily work job so I can stay employed, which is amazing in this day and age. As prices go up, diesel's going up, everything is going up. Only our livelihood goes down. So basically, that's pretty much me. It's amazing. Very positive.
Yep. And we've had a very positive show today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all very much for watching the last ever episode of Discuss Things, Tangent Kings. Tune in next Monday for the return of reality-based Tangent Kings as part of the wider Rumble revolution. Because if this show doesn't wipe out this channel, then nothing will.
If this show doesn't wipe out this channel, I will proclaim myself the immortal emperor once returned on Earth. I will guide you to enlightenment, and nobody will be able to touch me. And also, I will impregnate a lot of Polynesian women.
If I've learned anything from Expedition 33, all you got to do is remove another YouTuber's feet. Then you become him.
My lovely feet.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for
Terrible.
watching. Thank you very much for the donation to Stu. Thank you very much for everyone for being here, for the likes, for the one dislike that is very consistent with my recent streams. Thank you very much to the panel for being here. Hopefully we see each other soon on the other side or on this side as well. Smile and wave, boys. Cheers and stay fresh.